This is lesson 19. And this one I thought we'd have a change, and it's going to be a place called St. Bennets Abbey. Now St. Bennets Abbey is a place of worship, or was a place of worship, from about 860. That's a few years ago. And they have sort of, there was an abbey there, which is now a ruin of course, and then actually from there the people built a mill and used some of the stone from the abbey. And there it is, and built in the middle of it. A strange sight, the church in the distance. This is on the Broads, on the River Bure, and this is land. That's water there, that's water there, there's water here and water here. That's in 3 bands of water. So the light today is coming from, let me see now, yeah, well, I'll be coming from the right. And the colours we've got is our usual colours of raw sienna or ochre, ultramarine plus a mix of ultramarine and burnt umber, less of the umber, and it'll give you a grey colour, and a weak mix of alizarin crimson. Now, what I want to do is just remove that off there. Now you've got the colours, and just show you the kind of quantities I've mixed. That should give you a rough idea of the kind of quantity I've mixed. There you are. There's the ochre, or the sienna, the ultramarine, and the mix of ultramarine and burnt umber, and the weak mix of alizarin crimson. Okay? So right, now that's a sketch. I've put a sketch in front there, hopefully, that'll make things easier for you to do. So if you stop the film there and just film that sketch, you'll get a better view with it. I've got it sketched onto my piece of paper, and we'll start painting. Okay? So first thing I want to do is, the light's coming from the right, and let's see how we go. So randomly put clean water, not all over, just randomly. Let the brush decide where it goes. Don't you get involved. Right, some sunshine. That's the ochre or raw sienna. Lovely sunny day. Well, it is now until I spoil it. Put some sunshine to start with at least. Then we'll put that brush down, and we'll have some ultramarine. That's a lovely, lovely blue, this. Just kill off some of that white there. Keep it rolling. So don't fill all the shapes in, because you want some of this clear stuff will be a cloud formation, won't it? So just keep it going like this. And then near the bottom here, I want you to put some of that weak pinky stuff in, just here. Pull that up into the clouds, that'll be lovely. Mind the mill. And same this side here. Get rid of that well that's run down. And off the top of the mill there, a bit more pinky stuff down here. And then we'll put this is cloud formation. This is the ultramarine and burnt umber. Let's decide, the light's coming from the right, isn't it? And the action's just here, so I'll put a dark cloud up this corner here. It'll counterbalance the actual abbey, or the ruin of the abbey. roll a bit of a cloud in like that. A nice brush for doing this. Close the top down. And then as we come further down, we'll go further into the distance, won't we? So I'll weaken that mix and suggest some darks around here. Pinch a touch of that there. The light from the right, don't forget. So any sort of shadows you're going to get on these clouds are on the left hand side. Left hand side, pinch a touch more of that there. Left hand side. Some on the underside of this one here. Touch more there. That's right. That's forming your cloud for you. I might take that dark down by the mill there. That might help. Make it a bit darker there. Let's take it down here as well. It's like a dark cloud behind the mill. So the mill will stand out against the sky there. See how we go in now. Touch on that mill. Touch down there where I've missed a bit. And that'll do. I'm looking for things to do, so I should stop. Now I think I'll do I'll pull the mill in next. Get a smaller brush. And this is the first colour we had, the sienna. Start off with, this is an undercoat. Of the mill. The golden colour of the stone. This will be darker, this will be a similar colour because it's the same stone, you see. So let's put some colour onto that as well. As I say, it's an undercoat, don't worry about it. So you've got rubble and all sorts around here. But in fairness, they borrowed it to build the mill, so it's not wasted, the stone. It's been a ruin for as long as I can remember, anyway. But that's mind you, I had to go back here 40 years, so I'm a newcomer. But that gives me sort of an undercoat there. Now, while that mill is still wet, I'm going to use some of this burnt umber, pinch a touch of that, just a touch. And we'll have some of that on the shadow side, down here. So that will creep round the mill, because it's still wet. Still too nice, that. I think I'll put something even darker in that sky colour. We've got this stuff at the top. I'll pinch a touch of that in there. We'll put some of that in as well. That'll make it even darker. That's better. Nice dark there against the sky. Of course, the light side, of course, is where the sun's shining on it. So it'll not be dark here, so that's where the sunshine is. We'll get sort of an interesting touch across here. I'll soften that a bit with clean water. As it goes round there. Right, that's that bit done. Now we can do some of this work on here as well while we're at it, using that same colour again. This side will be dark. Always remember where the light's coming from, won't you? It's important that, because that makes your picture. So it's dark just here. There's some dark. I must use a rigger for this because there's little tiny bits there which I want to just show darker. That's against the light, so we're going to see some darks just here, aren't we? Where the castellation is still showing. And it's going to be dark in this gap here as well. Right. This is too nice. I'm going to put a bit of dark on this as well. It's too pretty. That'll do. Now this brickwork here, which is absolutely crumbling away. This is a piece of exposed stone, but it's in shade because the light's coming from the right. We'll stick that in there. Down this side. And of course I'm right-handed, so I'm working from the left to the right, which is obviously more convenient for me. But I say, if you're left-handed, you go the other way, which is a lot easier. You don't smudge your work. Some down here. Keep it running down. There's no straight edges here because it's a ruin, isn't it? As I said, this has been a religious spot since about 860, and every year the Bishop of Norwich brings a party of worshippers along the River Bure by boat and lands it. It's on an island, and it lands them by the Abbey there, and they do a service which is well known and quite well attended. So it's quite famous, and they do it every year. And of course, this is what it's on the River Bure, which is part of the Norfolk Broads. You've probably heard of the Norfolk Broads. Well, if you haven't, what they are is a series of. How it was formed, most of it was they used to dig peat out of the marshes there, and this was to burn and that. But of course, what happened? They dug a lot of this stuff out, and then the water from the river flowed into there, and sort of flooded the area. So it was like it created the Broads, the Norfolk Broads, and now they're very famous today because there's people come on holiday and really enjoy themselves. It's super. It is. They really are nice. And that's how they were formed. So not many people know that, apart from people in Norfolk. They'll know. That's a bit of a dark in there as well. You spend a bit of time with this because it's your main subject, isn't it, in the middle. That's a bit dark in there. And it's quite dark in the under the arch there. There we go. Take that down a bit. And there's some, just a touch of dark on there, like that round there. Right, I'm going to leave this for a bit now, this and concentrate on something else. It's not finished yet, but we'll get back to it later. What I'd like to do now is, in the distance there's a distant landscape, and if you can see very closely, there's a little tiny church. So we'll pop that in and give us our backdrop. That's it, not important, spear carriers, that's where it is. But they're there, so we've got to depict it in the landscape. But we've got to have the right colours, and that's, I'm using this French ultramarine and burnt umber again. And I might put a touch of that pinky stuff, that alizarin crimson in, which will give it a bit more depth. Just a touch in there, see what it's like. See what we're like. I just keep testing it there. That's not bad. Right, this is colour mixed. Right, this is, to give it depth, this is your distant landscape. Put 1 or 2 bits of bobbly bits where trees are and bushes and stuff like that. Gives it a bit more interest. But what it will do is send this portion of your picture back. So to forget it's a ultramarine, and I use some burnt umber and a touch of alizarin crimson in this to get me that colour, which depicts sort of a distant landscape. So it's in the distance. It's nothing special. I nearly missed that bit there. See, in what you can see through the gap. So it's coming along. Another church. I don't want to put colour on the church because it's in the distance. So I'm going to paint that the same colour as the distance. So it's just a shape, really. That's how it is when it's that far away from you. And of course, looking at it, it's a Norman church because it's a square tower and it's used in stone. Now the Saxons, they didn't have stone, so they built round towers, and that's how you tell the difference between the two churches. By Jove, educational as well. What more do you want for free? There, let's put some twiddly bits up here. That's given us our depth. Right, let's consider what's next. I think we will touch a landscape here, which is a greeny colour. But this greeny colour, of course, has got to be not in your face green. It's got to be sort of a sort of a soft green that's in the distance. So let's mix a bit of green, and I'm using the cadmium yellow, but not a lot of it. Cadmium yellow and a touch of ultramarine, I think, in this one, just a touch, just to give me a miserable green, if you like, but because it's in the distance, because I don't want it to jump out at me. Right, right, here we go. This comes down to here. I said just here is water. As the river comes round, that's on land. This church, you think, this St Bennets Abbey. I'll put a bit of green in there. So a touch of green in this here. And the reason I'm painting it pale greeny is because it's in the background. It's called aerial perspective, which means really the colours further away from you are less intense than the colours close to you. And it'll make your picture look as though, oh, that's gone in the distance, hasn't it? Oh, that's smashing, that. And we'll put some... now this here is a nearer green, so we're going to paint that a bit stronger. So I'm going to mix some stronger green, using the same colours, of course, but this time it'll be less water and more colour. Instead of French ultramarine, I'm going to use some winter blue red shade, which will give me a stronger green, a more close green. Look at that colour. Yeah, that should be all right. And this colour is going to go here in front of the abbey. Of course, grass grows up all around this stuff here, because it's not a lawn. It's dodgy. Continue that on a bit just here. Oh, I lost some dark in the bottom. Sorry, that just the lights from the right. Don't forget. So we're going to get some darks on this. Not that dark. So see how we go. There's a little spider crawling over the picture there. See, that green must look so realistic. It's enjoying the grass. That's right, when you live in the countryside, you get all sorts. I love living here because I don't know about you, but I love feeding the birds. And I've got about 3 or 4 sort of sunflower heart seed things, and I've got some square things which I put these like fat squares in with mealworms and all sorts in them. And the birds absolutely love them. They do understand. And the selection of birds we get is unbelievable. In fact, it increases each week. It does. We've got well, the tea this morning for a start. We're having a cup of tea in bed like you do, and looking through the window. It's a bungalow because we're same level. So there was a jay there, and then there was a lesser spotted woodpecker, 2 jackdaws, not all at once, you know, at different times. Of course, goldfinches, they're always there, and the chaffinches, they're there. The robin calls in as well, who are very territorial. Blackbirds, they've adapted themselves so they can hang on these seeds and nuts and that, so they're really taking to it. And one thing we don't get very often, but which we've had this last week, is starlings. Now starlings, there used to be hundreds of them, but all we get starlings now is usually down by the coast, near the fish and chip shop, where the people feed them on fish and chips. But there must be, with this lockdown, there's nobody people there, so they're coming up in the gardens and eating that. Anyway, I'm digressing. I'm supposed to be painting, not talking birds and. But it is enjoyable. I mean, I'm sure you do it yourself. And mind the pigeons, they're always here. And of course, Carol, my wife, we've got this bird bath thing, and she constantly fills it with clean water. And every day the pigeons come and just think it's their bath day, you know. They come in and away they go. So they leave hardly any water in. But there again, the little birds then like it because it's not deep, and the blue tits and the great tits and that, and the long-tailed tits, they all sort of paddle in it, and they enjoy it as well. So you can't complain really. They're all sets of birds. And with one pigeon we've got, it's got a bad leg, and it's been limping there, and it's for the last 3 years we've seen it. So it's a survivor, and that's territorial, because when it sees other pigeons coming for its seeds area, it really chases them off. It's a little terror, it is. But it's lovely to observe these things, because in lockdown you can go crazy, can't you? You might as well look at something. Right, I've just put a bit of detail on that, and then this screen here, this next screen we're coming to, is the same colours again, but stronger, because it's closer to us. This is the cadmium yellow and the winter blue red shade into it. We should make a nice stronger green in the foreground here. Because don't forget there's water there and water here. So this is a nice piece of greenery here. I'll flick some of that into there. It's to flick through that landscape. Of course, the strength of colour, now it's coming forward, this is obviously in front of that lot because it looks stronger, doesn't it? I'll flick it up there to give it some overlap. Down we go there. And then this piece here will be grassy just on top there, but there's like a muddy bank in the foreground as well, so we've got to be careful with that, because I want some of that on there as well. I'll stick that on there, and that'll come down here like this. So we'll graft it on top here and have it coming down here. I've run out of paint, so I'm going to mix a little touch more. That's a fatal error, that, running out of paint, you know. You shouldn't do it. So this is a green on here. I'll leave up some brown there in front of it. Okay. That'll do for that bit now. Oh, I might put I'll put some darks in the bottom here, away from the light. That's better. Right, now this water, it's what's in the sky is going to be down in the water, isn't it? So it's going to be, you're going to represent it in them colours. But before I do that, I just want to do this little this bank just in front of it here. This is the undercoat as it comes down to the water. With painting these pictures, it's always a problem for me. Not a problem, but wonder what you'd like to see next. You know, what subject. I mean, I can paint things from abroad, or paint local scenes, or whatever. And I have to sort of make this decision alone because there's no one to talk to. I'm going stir crazy. Let's have a bit of dark in there because that's too nice. Touch of dark. This is the burnt umber, what we used in the sky. See, on its own, these colours are really useful to you. It's just giving it a touch of edge on that area, because it hangs over that the grass is not right down to the water's edge. It's sort of like a crumbly bank. Darken that even more with some of this colour I've got in the sky. That's you see, if you're using the same colours, also it's harmony. You're not sort of saying in clashing with different qualities of colours and stuff like that. So if you're using the same stuff, it's in the picture somewhere, and it'll look all right. Trust me. Well, lots of people sort of telling me about it. They're enjoying it, at least. That's the main thing. I think most of them are Yorkshire people because it's free, you see. They do enjoy anything free up in Yorkshire. And of course, when I said to people, will you subscribe? And all that means is you don't pay. All you do is, if you tick it, you get to know when the next painting is ready for viewing, when it's been uploaded. So it saves you having to think, oh, well, I'll have a look, see if he's done another one. And there it is, ready for you, as if by magic. Right, I'm going to dry that a bit now. Then we're going to put some water in. Next thing I want to do is, let's get this water in, get rid of this white, then we'll see what the balance is like. So the water colour is, what's in the sky is down in the water, but probably stronger. So let's get a mix of something stronger for this water here. Now this is the sky colour, isn't it? So we'll see what I've got left of that, see if I can pinch that there. Might be enough there, we'll see. This is the sky colour, this stuff up here, this heavy stuff. Let's see how we go. Let's have a quick flick on that paper. And we'll have this down here. Let's brush it down, all some liquid. You can paint without a pause. Now this down here. This is even stronger because it's closer to us, isn't it? We'll love it when the white's gone, because you can see exactly what you've got then. I'm going to darken this front bit just to bring it towards me a little bit more. Touch of that, more paint, touch of burnt umber into it. That'll darken the blue a bit. We'll have a touch on that there. That should darken. That's better. That's darkened it even more. Look. So I said the bishop brings a party up here, and they land on this, and then they all, you know, they have a service and that, and celebrations and all sorts. It's really, really nice. It is, and it's well attended. So that is stronger there, look, than that bit there, because it's closer to us. So we're looking over this onto that bit, and then onto the distance. And even the greens is stronger here, you see. Then on the next one, which is not so strong, and then the paler green in the background, and then from there it goes to the bluey distance there, across there. So you've created that is about probably 2 miles away, that church and that, but you've created a 2 mile depth in about half an inch in old money. I don't know what it is in new money, maybe so many centimetres, I suppose, but it creates depth. And we've got a flat piece of paper, and we can't do anything else about it being flat, but we can create a feeling of depth, and that's what we're trying to do each time. So if you only pick that up, that's wonderful. And for those of you who haven't been on the Norfolk Broads, it's quite fascinating, really, because these waterways they go around there, and perhaps it'll go around the back of there and go up there. But you can't see the water there because it's between those two fields there. But what you can see from time to time is perhaps a yacht sailing there, and all you can see is a sail. And it looks like it's on land, but it's actually sailing up there and coming around here and around this and to there and somewhere else. So it's a real nice trip on the Broads. Right, what am I doing now? So look, yes, it's a bit it's dry now, so I can the light's coming from the right, isn't it? So I'm going to put some shadows in, and the shadow colour we use is that ultramarine and burnt umber, which is transparent, as I've said before. And because it's transparent, you can see through it. On what you're shading over, it's you can see the underlying colour, which is nice. That's what it's about. Right, let me see if I'm happy with them darks first. And before I do that, I'll put some darks on that, a bit more sculpturing on the mill itself. Let's put some bit of dark on there. This is dry now, I can lean on it. So you can get these twiddly bits like this, look. Where some of the cracks are in the stone. The dark down there. Just make it look as though it's a solid piece of rock instead of just a blob of colour. That's what we're trying to do. It's dark down here. You'll see this bit stands out more than something we haven't done there, you see. We'll put a bit of dark in there. down the bottom. That's a bit of sculpture on this. This is a hole. Better put that hole in there. We're going to get some shadowing and stone effects on this as well. Some of this down here, that little bit at the back which is hardly visible. And these castellations will show a darkness on there as well. I tell you what, I've got my glasses on today. It's that one I painted without my glasses. I thought, I don't know how I got through it. But it finished all right anyway. So, but it's better with my glasses, I can see what I'm doing. A lot nicer. And sort of put a bit of stone effect in here like that, see. See where the stones go. I can do this in the middle as well. That'll be quite nice. Just indicate the odd stone. Don't fill it all in. Let somebody else do it when they're viewing. Therapeutic, this. I'll put a little bit at the top here as well. Of course, the sails on the top have long gone. That'll do. I'm starting to fiddle now, and I don't like to fiddle. If I start to fiddle, take the brush off me. That's what they do. Right, it's sculpted a bit more. I might do a touch more on that. This interior, it's too nice. Bigger statement down there. Of course, when you set darks against lights, and the lights seem to sing out then, so you turn the light on. So that helps there. There'll be some twiddly bits on the top here, like this, like that, where the stones are rocking about. We'll probably get some darks on. What was a dark there? What's putting in there? Just make that a bit not too strong, but a little bit stronger than what we've got. I just want to just indicate a touch of colour onto the archway where it's curving over. Not too strong. That's it. That's what do that now. Let's just do a touch of stuff on this bank here. This is close to us, so we're going to get some indication of this sort of stuff right by where it's going near the water's edge. it's a job this which you can do a little or as lot as you want, whichever turns you on, you know, whatever you like doing. But that's the detail on this is in bringing this forward in front of the abbey and that. Is it coming down here like that? I don't want to put some people in, you know, like as though they're worshipping, but I think it'd be too many. I'll keep it simple, I think. Down at the water's edge, yeah. Right, I don't want to. I think I'll put some. I'll put a couple of people in. Yeah, just sort of deciding what to worship, or whether they might just be visiting. You know, because they come up on the boats and park up somewhere or moor up, as they say, and then they'll have a walk and look at the abbey, which is lovely. It's well worth a trip, I'll tell you. Right, so I'm going to put some people in here. It's quite a big arch, that. It's not. Don't put them that big, or they'll look too big. They'll probably be about up to there, like that, just small. And Fred always likes to go down here, so I'll put Fred in. And he's got his lovely red jumper on. It's been everywhere, this jumper, I'll tell you. So Fred is here. There he is. Fred. I will put Mabel in as well, because she likes a trip as well. And she stood by him. This is obviously, they were very close together here. They must have been courting before they were married. So she stood very close to him, hanging on every word, like they do, or like they used to do. And then we'll put them some dark trousers on, and that will stand out against that background. So Fred stood here, contemplating the abbey. Dark hairs looking at what they're doing down there. Mabel's doing the same. She's got red hair, Mabel. So put a bit of burnt sienna for her hair. Just here. But yeah, so they've just broken the horizon, which is nice, isn't it? So, mind you, we ought to have 3. We don't like 2. We could put. No, they wouldn't have a child with them if they weren't married, would they? I'll put another one over here. It could be a brickie. No, I'll not put a brickie in. He's a visitor, this lad. He's a visitor, and he's stood about here. He's inspecting the architecture. In fact, he's just waving to Fred. Hello. How are you, Fred? He's got some blue trousers on. There he is. It's a bit further away, see, so it's a bit smaller. So he's a dark-haired lad as well. But there he is, he's shouting up to him, "Hey, come on over here, come and look at this." And don't forget the light is from the right, isn't it? Now what we've got to think about that when we're doing this, of course, you start doing these things and then you get bogged down. But what we've got to do before we do anything is, this is going to cast a reflection in the water, isn't it? So we'd better look at that as well. So let's look at the possibility of reflections. We can't do it without reflections, can we? So let's see what we're going to get on reflections, shall we? So this will reflect in the water here. And the mill will. A touch of light there like that, light there, but then some darks, isn't it? Because we've darkened that area, so we'll put some of that darky colour in, which is going to be darker here, because the brickwork's darker, so you get a lot darker reflection. Whether you get some on this side of the water, I'm not sure. You might do. Let's put some in, shall we? Put some in. So this is picking up this middle bit here like that. Oh, I like that. It's better. That's better. I don't think you get that one. You get this dark brown one though. Definitely. Probably a touch of that colour there. Get a bit of that dark on that. Dark. I like that dark there. And some dark one. Come about not as tall as the mill, of course, but you get a touch of, just a touch there, like that. And with this, we'll just get a touch about there. And of course, when you start putting figures in, what do you have to do? They're going to reflect in the water, aren't they? So don't forget that. So Fred's going to reflect just about here. And Mabel, she's going to reflect as well, just about here. And the trousers, they'll reflect, won't they? Just a touch about here. Don't come out. And then this bloke here, he'll reflect a little bit, so we better put him in as well. We can't let him get away with it. You might see a touch of, he stood further back, so you'll not get a lot of him. He stood about here. You might just see a touch of his jumper there. You might see just a little touch of his trousers, just here. And his head, of course. There he is. Right, we started. Oh, now we're talking about shadows. I've got to come back to these shadows now, because I like putting shadows in. Shall we try now, I think? Right, shadows. Let's see about some shadows. Right, the light's from where? The right-hand side, isn't it? So this, what's away from the sun, is going to be in shade, isn't it? So this is going to be in shade here. This bit here. Down there. And this is going to be in shade in here. Deep shade. And that'll be in shade as well. That bit there. That will be in shade here. Of course, if you're going to do that, The shade will also depict in the water as well, won't it? Because it's darker. Don't forget that. And this one here. And this big one here. Right, the mill. We want to sort of put some dark onto this, don't we? That'll be dark there as well. So put some dark in this here. And that will be dark, the mill there. It reflects in the water. Soften that there. And I suppose, yeah, Fred and Mabel, as they're walking, you might see a bit of a shadow on the floor here. I'm nitpicking now, but you might do just there like that. Where they stood there. And you'll cast a shadow, this bloke here. And the mill itself will cast a shadow down here. And this will cast a shadow down here as well. And probably cast a shadow on the wall here. Behind this bloke. And that will cast a shadow on there like that. Down here, and a touch on that one there. I'm getting to a stage where I'm looking for things to do. So next thing I look for is a bird in the sky. If there's any dodgy bits in the sky, we'll have a bird in. Because I'm into birds. Well, it's not bad really. We've been lucky again. Mind you, I tell you what I want to do. I want to just strengthen that grass area there because it's a bit miserable. So we'll just strengthen it a little bit. It must be nearly an hour, this picture, but they're usually an hour, so I'm not far out on time. So we'll keep it. Let's put some dark in that. Bit more blue in it. That's better with this rigger. It's a smashing little brush, this. It's nice when it flicks up and gives me some darks there in the bottom. It'd be nice if we had some little bits of grass sticking up out of this as well, you know, which is going to flick over the water there. Don't bother with that side because it's too far away, and I don't want to get bogged down with irrelevant things. The little spider's there again. I don't know what he's after. I might get some darks under here as well. This will bring this forward again. You know, doing the shadows, it's one of the nicest bits of the picture because it brings it to life. That darkness there in this corner has brought it towards us as well. So we know the sun's coming from the right. We know that the highlights of the sun is on there and on this and on that and on that and on that. I might put a bit more dark in that inner portion there. It's just a little bit to make it even more dark in there. It's a real recess under that arch there. Because there's no reflected light from anywhere in there, it's quite dark. And then take the brush off me because I'm messing. And of course that dark there, oh, I know what I've done now. So I put that in darker there, so I've got to put it darker in here and the water. Where the reflection is. Stop. Well, that, folks, is our St Bennets Abbey on the Norfolk Broads, on the Bure River, and I've enjoyed painting it. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, give us a like or a tick or a subscribe and you'll get to know next time. But until then, it's goodbye from me. Goodbye, folks.